Welcome in to Where the 99 Lead. It's a presentation of the University of Pikeville where we talk about all things regarding the University of Pikeville, academics, athletics, and of course, many of the different curriculum programs at the university. I'm Andrew Joyce, your host, joined by Bruce Parsons, Assistant Professor of Film and Media Arts. Had to check my notes. That's a new program. Didn't want to get that wrong.
It is a new program, yeah.
Bruce, welcome in.
Thank you. Thanks.
Great to have you on Where the 99 Lead. And, of course, we talk about Where the 99 Lead, referring to the historic 99 steps that lead to campus and lead from campus. With this being a new program with film and media arts, we've yet to see those first students make their way back to the communities from those 99, but it's not far off.
No, and I think we have a lot of students locally who are going to be very interested in this program. At the base of it, you have, HD camera equipment and fancy microphones and computers and all that. So that gets them in. But then as they start to learn about the things and they start to make stories and show it and people have positive responses, then it just catches on even more.
I can tell already you're going to go way over my head today. But we're going to spend the next several minutes. We're going to talk about the program there and what it means to students at the University of Pikeville. Before we go there, Bruce, let's talk about your background. Film and media arts. Let's talk about your background there, how you arrived at the university.
I'm from Pikeville, Kentucky.
Sure.
I grew up here. I went to Morehead State for my undergrad, and I studied graphic design. And I was also the editorial cartoonist for the campus newspaper.
How fun was that?
It's a pretty great job. I got paid to just kind of draw whatever I wanted.
And make fun of people?
I made fun of the administration a little bit.
Make statements?
My mother was afraid I would never be allowed to graduate. But I used that portfolio from the newspaper to get into film school.
Sure.
At Ohio University. I had never made a film at that point, so
right.
it was kind of a long shot to get in, but they liked the things that I was doing. So I studied at OU for 3 years and got my MFA. While I was there, I did a lot of films all around the country in Utah and California and Chicago, New York, and then I did a summer in Ecuador where we shot documentary footage in Ecuador on tropical disease research. And
Interesting.
Then, we did PSAs for Ecuadorian television while we were there, and we also worked with some young kids there so they could learn to make their own work after we left.
There are a lot of possibilities for students that graduate this program, really a wide open world that they can encounter.
One of the great things is media is all-encompassing.
Sure.
Once you learn the fundamentals of this is how you use a video camera, this is how you use an editing system, you can turn it on whatever your personal interests are.
Right.
I always tend to make films about where I'm from and films about cartoonists and things like that because that's what I'm interested in. And the students here will be able to do the same thing.
Very interesting. With your background, you bring a lot to a new program with the University of Pikeville, a new program that's in its infancy, really. The University of Pikeville Film and Media Arts program, let's talk about how this program came to be, when it actually started, when it welcomed its first students.
I started at the university as the director of new media in the public affairs office. And the communication department had already started offering some broadcast courses, especially with the advent of Pike TV and some of the other opportunities for our students here. So it had started to build before I arrived. And then with my background in film, I was talking with some of the people in the humanities department and the communications department, and the governor got involved. And President Patton is very interested in documentary and very interested in media in this place. And so the conversation just grew from there. And then he tasked us with making this new major.
He's been a politician. He knows the importance of media and how you can control perception with the media, and that can be done just as it can be controlled with your cartoon work.
Absolutely, and he really wanted the students from this area and who studied in this area to be able to develop their own voice and to make stories that they thought were relevant and for them to get involved in the history of the region. Very,
very nice. And the Film and Media Arts program at the University of Pikeville, that program now a part of curriculum. Can a student major in this program? Is it a minor program? What type?
They will be able to major in it. We're pending SAC's approval. We have to go through one final accreditation process, but we don't see there being any difficulty with that. And it would start in fall 2012.
Okay.
And so a student could major in the program, or it could be a minor.
Students that are on campus now could actually change to that major.
Absolutely. And we have a lot of students who are taking the courses as communication courses that will transfer over.
What type of career opportunities are available to someone who would graduate with a major or a minor in film and media arts?
You have your sort of fundamentals of the trade, which are documentary filmmaker, news broadcaster, radio personality, different things like that.
So you develop personalities on campus.
Absolutely.
I've got a couple of people I want to send your way.
But you can do the above the line or behind the line. You can be the technician who runs the board, or you
Right.
can be the person on camera. So we do, we sort of all encompass, those learning opportunities.
Everything from being a face to being the hands that actually control the broadcasting. I know I've worked on both sides in the broadcast industry, and I know you have as well. Do you have a favorite?
I prefer to be behind the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. I prefer to direct documentary film and that sort of thing. I like to spend time and develop characters, and really, I get a little bit obsessed with a topic, and then I typically end up making a film about that.
Very nice. Career opportunities for someone with a major in film and media arts. How far can they go? And I guess it would depend on how far they would want to go. But what are some opportunities, and how many opportunities are available locally for someone just coming out of school?
To work with a news broadcasting agency, there are a lot of opportunities. The way we teach the courses is they learn all aspects, and that's really the trend that mainstream media is headed in anyway. It's no longer you have 3 people behind the camera, 1 or 2 people in front. It's one person who can do all aspects.
Right.
There are lots of radio stations in the area they can work, and even someone who doesn't major in this, someone that minors in it, because it is all-encompassing and storytelling is a part of everything that we do. A lot of people are hiring positions in public affairs and marketing sections, and they want someone who can do websites, and they want someone who knows how to use a camera and can go out and get a story.
Of course, the film part of it, the media part of it. You're talking websites. Yeah, they can be integrated, but not necessarily the same. Website design, those type of things, a little different. So it's going to take someone that is multi-talented.
Right, and that's one of the great things about this program is it's an interdisciplinary program.
Sure.
We have designed a lot of new courses, broadcasting classes, documentary classes, script writing classes, but we've also incorporated things from other disciplines that we already have. The students will have to take communication courses, they'll have to take art classes, they will take web design courses through the business department. So when they graduate, not only will they be able to make a film, but they'll know how to market it, they'll know how to get out and write, receive grant money, do all the things that an independent filmmaker or a media person would need to know.
We want to talk about some of the specific classes in the program in just a moment, but career opportunities, before we move from there, Pike TV is something that has been tremendous for Pike County and for the region. And there are some immediate opportunities there. I would imagine internships that might be available for students in this program, and then possibly look out Al Greenfield, someone may be taking over.
Absolutely. Last semester, not a lot of students had yet heard about the internship opportunities at Pike TV, and now I think they have 4 and possibly are going to have more. One of the great things about having Pike TV at our disposal, when a student graduates, a lot of times all that they have on their resume are student productions.
Sure.
They don't have professional broadcast experience. They don't have, when you apply for a job, they look at produced work. And working through Pike TV, all of these students are going to have hours of produced work.
It's a tremendous benefit for the region, for those that are actually able to watch it and see how things work around the communities, fiscal court, city commission, the different programming there. But now for the students to be able to get hands-on experience, and it's experience that can be tagged to a resume, and it does draw a little more respect than just student productions.
And it's a motivational factor too. If the students create something that 10 to 20 people are going to see in class, they'll work a lot harder on something that thousands of people are going to see multiple times across the community. It's a motivational factor.
No doubt about it. Some of the classes in the program, what do they learn in the classroom? What does a typical media and film classroom look like? Because I would imagine it doesn't look like an accounting classroom. And what are some of the classes in the program?
The classes are usually held in either the Pike TV studio, where we have access to all of their equipment. We also have courses in Mac computer labs, so we have access to Final Cut Pro editing stations. And we bounce around quite a bit. I like to have a lot of discussion in class, and I bring up topics about things they already know about. They have so much media savvy anyway, because
Sure.
they're on their phone.
It's
or they're
that
on the
generation.
web. And I like for them to know that is a knowledge base that they already have to build from. They need to make things that they would be interested in seeing, that other people would be interested in seeing. And so I do a lot of discussion where we talk about what have you been watching. Well, let's pull that up and look at it. And so the computer labs are essential to that.
And it forces a student to look at media in a different way as they're being creative and building these types of things in the classroom. What they watch on their television, on the internet, they look at it a little differently when they're involved.
Right, and we kind of ruin it for them a little this morning. In class this morning we were talking about it, that once this course is over, they're in the broadcast basics course, that they will no longer be able to watch something and just say, oh, I like that or I didn't like that. We watched it this morning, and those were the first responses we had, and I said, well, when I see this, I see 3 characters, I see 2 locations, I see at least 3 different cameras that had to be involved.
Yeah.
And so we start to break down how you, not only is it a good story or not, but how would you actually go about executing that.
I've stopped listening to the radio because that happens. You become very critical of the industry you work in, whether it be radio or television. You do become very critical as you see things. I would have done it this way, and I would imagine that starts very soon with them.
Yeah, I would say within the next couple of weeks before they even make their first piece, their critical eye will be a lot more.
The classroom, of course, you talk about the Pike TV studios. You talk about the computer labs and things that they will learn various skills that they'll use in the industry. What other types of settings will they get hands-on experience?
Well, they'll be out in the community and in the field. All of the Pike TV equipment, it exists in a studio space, but it's also mobile. You can do the same 3-camera shoot, anywhere. So they'll be out interacting with people in the community. It's not just write a paper and do some research. You have to actually go face to face wherever the story takes you.
Let's talk about the equipment, and this is where you're going to leap over my head. Let's talk about the types of equipment that they will use and some of the skills that they will learn with the various types of equipment.
Right. Well, we use all professional quality, broadcast standard, high definition equipment. They're shooting 1080p. The same cameras we use, filmmakers and media professionals are using all over the world. A lot of times people equate Eastern Kentucky with being behind as far as technology goes, but when it comes to this, we're exactly the same as the rest of the world.
A lot of high-tech equipment, it comes with great expense.
It does. It does. That's another place where Pike TV comes in handy. As we developed this major, we knew that overcoming, the fiscal responsibilities wouldn't be that difficult because the channel already has all the equipment we need.
It's a great benefit because some of the equipment I've seen with Pike TV, it's better than some commercial television stations equipment that you'll encounter.
But we have field switchers, we have multiple high definition cameras, we have green screens, we have all the things that you would use anywhere else. And the great thing that we do is it's not just let's learn this particular model of camera. We start from the basics so that as technology changes, which it does every 2 or 3 years in this business, they know how to move through that. So they're not going to become obsolete in a job because they only know one thing.
Talking with Bruce Parsons, Assistant Professor of Film and Media Arts. It is a new program. If you think that sounds peculiar, it's because it's that new. At the University of Pikeville, we're the 99 lead. We talk about the Film and Media Arts program and where those students might land next. You may be seeing some of these students on Pike TV very soon. You may see them on maybe some of your local news productions. And who knows, they could be the next Spielberg or Lucas.
I have a student now who said in 5 years he's going to be on SportsCenter. So
very good, very ambitious, and good luck to you. That it's a tremendous goal, and I know a lot of athletes. That's a goal. They want to be on SportsCenter because that's the big boy. And I think what's encouraging to students now is we've had local sports anchors that are now a part of ESPN on air, and I think it's something that can be a very realistic goal for someone who's that ambitious. Let's talk about learning about storytelling because it doesn't take much to stand and read a script from a teleprompter standing in front of a camera. Once you get by the basics, the fear of the camera, those things, that can be accomplished in a classroom, learning to deal with that. Let's talk about the storytelling aspect, not just on camera, but behind the camera as well, as I know you've done with some documentaries and things. It's all about telling a story.
Storytelling is essential. It goes back as far as history. We all have friends or family who are good storytellers and friends or family who are bad storytellers. We try to get them to, they become filters for the information. They have to take everything in, truncate it down, and then put it in a visual medium. You don't want audio that's saying the same thing as the picture. You have to learn that they feed from each other.
Right.
And you put them together and it becomes even more powerful. And so we actually did a storytelling lesson this morning. And so you break down what is the plot and what is the theme. And then I show a lot of examples. And I'll show things that I know that they won't like, and I'll show things that'll get a good response. And then I make them pick apart why it worked and why it didn't.
Right.
And then storytelling, whether you're going to be a media professional or not, being able to convey your thoughts and being able to express to someone what it is you're thinking, it's important in any job. So
in any business, I think of immediately in the business world, in negotiations, in the medical field, with bedside manner, for lack of a better term. But it is important to being able to tell a story, being able to convey a point in no matter what part of the world you're in. Students in the program, we talked about this. They become more critical. Have you, in your studies, your filmmaking, picked apart things that you see?
Absolutely. We're inundated with media right now. It's on my phone, it's on my TV, it's on the radio when I get in the car.
Easy.
There are so many outlets that everyone has to become critical of what they're hearing and what they're seeing. It's great now that I can take my cell phone out and shoot some video, and in 5 minutes it's on YouTube, but it's also dangerous that I can shoot some video and in 5 minutes it's on YouTube.
We've seen that at McDonald's drive-thrus.
You have to learn what to filter out, what's actual news, what's reality. We do a lot of discussions about just because something's called a documentary or reality TV doesn't make it reality.
Exactly.
And so you have to be critical of those things. And these are young people who are going to be, shaping whatever the next form of media is going to be. There's a 16-year-old in his mom's basement somewhere developing the technology that we're all going to use in 2 years.
Or a 40-year-old in his mom's basement. Bruce, we talk about being critical, and a lot of that may bring a negative connotation to being critical of things that they see, things that they hear in the media. Is that necessarily the case?
I don't think so. I think it's definitely part of the academic discourse at the university, and it's just part of how we all filter information. Just because you ask questions of something doesn't mean it's a negative thing. It can actually, lead you to feel more strongly about what you just saw.
And it's not just about media. It's about life. Mm-hmm. You don't always believe what you're shown or what you're told, but critical thinking. It's part of the college process.
Unfortunately, you can't take everything at face value.
Sure.
You have to think on your own.
You mean just because it's on Facebook, it's not true?
Facebook, FBO, Facebook Official.
You got it. Well, we talk about the program and Pike TV. We've touched on the ways that students can become integrated with Pike TV. This program, how closely integrated is it with Pike TV?
It's extremely integrated. Al Greenfield, who's actually the director of the Pike TV program, teaches the broadcasting course. So students, there's a course where students are just at Pike TV every time the course meets, and they're shooting some special projects just for Pike TV, and they're also just part of the workforce. But they learn the academic side of that. They learn the practical side of that. I think it's really what helps our program stand apart. There are a lot of film and media programs throughout the eastern part of the United States, but to the best of my knowledge, we are one of the only ones that focuses on documentary storytelling and a lot on broadcast news.
Sure. Bruce Parsons, Assistant Professor of Film and Media Arts at the University of Pikeville, and sticking with Pike TV for just a moment, because it's new to Pike County and to our area. It's a great addition. City government, county government, Pikeville Medical Center, the city of Pikeville, all joining forces to bring Pike TV to the area. Without Pike TV, would your program, would your curriculum be possible at the university?
It would be very difficult. It would be extremely difficult on the equipment side, on the staff side, and just the experiential learning of actually going to a television station and producing content. Without that, we would have a lot more of, the professor standing in front of the class talking about, well, if you were going to go in the field, this is how it would be. Now, we start with that now, and then we can actually take them into the field.
Right. How many students involved in the program?
Right now, we have quite a few. I have 14 in my broadcast basics course, and that's where you first start to learn. We have a 100 level class that's about the history of digital media, and those courses are full, and we're going to have to offer extra sections of those. So, the admissions crew bring a lot of people by my office who are in high school doing this sort of stuff or want to learn this. There's a lot of parents interested in it. I would say it would be a very popular major once it fully gets going at the
Yeah,
university.
I think it definitely will be. And that's just another way. If folks that say, well, why does Pike TV exist? Well, here's one of the reasons so many students able to get a better education because they have the hands-on with Pike TV. Let's talk about a program I've heard mentioned, but I know very little about. That's the capstone project for seniors in the program.
After you've gone through all the courses, you will learn film history, you'll learn screenwriting, lots of broadcast basics and how to use cameras. And then they'll spend a semester and possibly 2 semesters, depending on the scope of the project they want to create, where they just start from nothing. They develop an idea. They decide what they want to make a 30-minute documentary about. And then they spend their senior year creating this 30-minute documentary.
That could be interesting.
Yeah, and it's, it'll be directed. They'll have to have supporting evidence on why this would be an interesting film to make and who the audience would be. But essentially, they get to choose what they want. As long as they can support it in an academic way, they can make that film.
You found a career you love, haven't you?
I have, yes.
Yeah, it absolutely shows. Bruce Parsons, Assistant Professor of Film and Media Arts at the University of Pikeville. Who are some of the other instructors, professors, associated in the program Film and Media Arts at the university?
We have Chandra Masner, who teaches communication courses. She's very involved in this program. We have Pat Kowalik in the art department, who's going to be, teaching a lot of the art classes she teaches now, but there'll be people who are in there with more of a film and media eye, trying to learn composition and things like that. But it really spreads all out through creative writing in the English department. Even to, there may be some biology courses that our students take. If, like myself, I studied art in graduate school, but I took a graduate biology course because I was going to Ecuador to study tropical disease research and make a documentary about that. I needed to know about it, so I took graduate hours in biology. And I would have never guessed that would ever happen, and it was a great course and experience. And I think we'll start to run into things like that. Students who develop an idea in a documentary, and so they start to take biology courses or Spanish courses or whatever happens to fuel that knowledge that they're looking for in their film.
Wow. It's a great program, and I'm excited because it has to do with the industry that I'm involved in, and we're always looking for new talent. And I got a feeling you've already seen some.
Absolutely. I think we have a lot of students already in the institution who are going to be great at this, and I think we have a lot of students coming in who are just going to love it. And it really gets them involved in the university. They get to develop an audience on Pike TV for a younger crowd. Hopefully we'll be driving more students to watch Pike TV, and they'll be interested in that. But it also gets them in the community. They'll get to learn about stories that happen here that they hadn't heard of before.
They say that it's not a job where you go to earn a living every day is something you enjoy.
Right.
You found that, and I think that's what the students will try to find as well. As you encounter students and they think, boy, this would be fun to do the rest of my life, how many realize that it is still a job? No matter how much you enjoy it, it's still a job that you have to work under work situations with bosses and with those type of things. Maybe their hands are tied a little.
Yeah, I think that's part of the learning process. Some of the projects they make, I say, go make whatever you want to make. And a lot of them, though, I'll say, you have these 3 things to choose from because we have to cover this and this and this. Yeah. And they might grumble a little bit when they hear that. But, they learn the fundamentals of it, and they can go out and create whatever they need to create.
Until they become Spielberg or Lucas, then, somebody else is calling the shots. Bruce, you are the director of new media for the university. That's outside your role as a professor in the Film and Media Arts Department. Talk about that. What does that mean? What does that encompass?
It's in the Public Affairs Department of the university, and it sort of encompasses the online and visual presence of the university from a public affairs standpoint. So one of the first things I did when I started in 2010 was we redesigned the website.
Sure.
So that's a big part of it. Our online social media presence, I kind of oversee a lot of that. And I create a lot of videos for Pike TV from the university and for the students. I traveled to the national championship and made a video a day while the basketball team played. Things like that. I like to produce stories about people at the university, and I like to make the information accessible to more people.
There are some great stories to be told there on that hill, too.
More than I have time to
Sure.
make, unfortunately. Yeah.
Well, you've got students coming through the ranks now. That could be assignments down the road.
Yep, and they're already starting
Sure.
to do that. Yeah.
It's a great program, and I'm excited about it. I can tell you are, and I know the university's a better place to have you there.
Well, thank you.
Bruce Parsons, Assistant Professor of Film and Media Arts. It's one of the most exciting programs on campus, in my opinion.
I think so.
Yeah. Why wouldn't we think that? It's Where the 99 Lead. It's presented by the University of Pikeville, talking about the University of Pikeville. Today's guest, Bruce Parsons, Assistant Professor of Film and Media Arts at the University of Pikeville. I'm Andrew Joyce. Good evening.